What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and the Johnny Depp trial captured the eyes and ears of millions and millions of people around the world. And it also captured the attention of the mainstream media. In fact, ever since the trial ended, it seems like the mainstream media is in full attack mode because they are upset about the verdict in this trial. They cannot stand that Johnny Depp won this trial. And you know what? Over the course of this trial, I have been paying close attention to the mainstream media's coverage of it. I have been paying very close attention to the mainstream media's response to the verdict of this trial. And I have noticed a trend. I have noticed that the left-leaning mainstream media outlets seem to be the ones that are the harshest on Johnny Depp. And I kind of find that weird because Johnny Depp seems to be like a left-leaning guy. Am I right? I mean, just a few years ago, he made a comment about assassinating Donald Trump. That seems to me to be like something the mainstream media loves. In fact, I'm sure they championed him on when he made that comment. But now he is public enemy number one in the mainstream media's eyes, and I find that weird. Because he seems like he says some of the right things that the mainstream media would like. But they will turn on you in a heartbeat once you do something or say something that goes against their narrative. And you know what? I feel like the mainstream media has tried to turn this whole thing, this whole trial, into another political background. I have seen countless articles where they're acting like people who support Johnny Depp are all right-wing extremists, when that's not the case. People from every religious and political background are supporting Johnny Depp because they are on the side of the truth, regardless of what political party they are with. In fact, I feel like a lot of people who are supporting Johnny Depp are left-leaning people. They are people who lean to the left. But the mainstream media has abandoned all of them. The mainstream media hopefully has showed these people that they don't care about you. You think they care about you just because you're going along with whatever narrative they're pushing at the moment? The moment that you disagree with something they do or say, they will chastise you. They will cast you out. They will other you. They will treat you like less of a human being. And now what they've done, they've tried to equate everyone who supports Johnny Depp. They're trying to say they are a right-wing incel, and they're a misogynist, they're a white supremacist, they're this, they're just calling supporters of Johnny Depp the worst names you could call someone. They're accusing them of being the worst things that you could possibly be. And I don't understand why. Although I do understand why, but at the same time, it's almost shocking when you see it happen. I understand to them, their little movement, their Me Too movement, and their Believe All Women narratives, and all of these social movements that they're subscribed to, it's more important to them than Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a sacrificial lamb to them. But after sitting back and watching the response to this trial from the mainstream media, I noticed that only one news outlet had something to say that seemed like it was worth a damn. And it just so happened to be Fox News. And I'm not a fan of any mainstream media outlet. I think other media outlets are worse than others, but I don't watch the news. I don't watch mainstream news. I don't trust any mainstream news outlet. I know that one day, even if someone seems trustable or this news outlet seems trustable today, when there comes a time that they want to push a narrative, when it comes a time that they have an agenda to push, they will not hesitate in spreading lies. So I don't watch mainstream news. I get all of my news from independent news outlets, independent news sources. But there was this one person on Fox News that finally had the balls to step up and say what needed to be said about Amber Heard. They finally had, after years of seeing nothing but bogus BS from the mainstream news outlets, someone stepped up and said something that made some sense. And I want you all to listen to it real quick.
Look, here's the bottom line. For this woman to come out and say it's a setback for women, I think she needs to understand one thing, and that is that what she did was harmful to real victims of domestic violence. And I'm sorry for saying it again. I started the first domestic violence unit in the nation. I have dealt with battered women for 30 years. As soon as she started, it was clear she was not the victim. She was the abuser. And Johnny Depp had lawyers who could take her on. This Camila Vasquez was right on target with her. The tape recordings where she said, Johnny, you going to be a baby? Are you going to tell everybody I didn't hit you hard enough? It was difficult for this man to make a decision to put his whole life on the table, but he had nothing to lose. And when they said to him, what have you lost as a result of what she did? He said nothing short of everything. And so she tried to promote herself as being part of the Me Too movement, that here I am, a woman who's being abused. And she said, you know, the defense was, we didn't know if it was about Johnny Depp. Are you kidding? 2 years earlier, she tried to get a temporary restraining order against him, and it was in all the newspapers. But she was impossible to believe. And I would tell a jury as a judge, if you find that one witness has testified falsely with respect to one fact, you are free to disregard their entire testimony. This woman lied over and over again, and I feel free to say that on television. She lied. She was a liar. She was the abuser, and he was the victim. And let me just say one more thing. For him to take on this burden, which is not only proof that he was defamed, that she was talking about him, but that she was malicious. That jury had to really see right through her to say she was malicious. And they found for him $10 million compensatory, $5 million punitive damages. That's to punish you, Amber Heard.
Yeah.
For taking on this guy's life and destroying his life so you could be part of the Me Too movement. Don't give me this stuff, you know, it's a setback for women. You do not represent women. You represent the worst of women who try to falsely blame men. And that's...
Finally, someone said it. Finally, someone said something. And you know what? It feels refreshing seeing someone from the mainstream news actually say something that sounds legitimate, you know? But I don't think we should celebrate every time the mainstream media actually does their job. But damn, it seems like I haven't seen them do their job in ages. But what she said is something that needs to be said. And it's something that I see people saying all around the world. And you see, the mainstream media, at least a portion of the mainstream media, they want to play this trial as if it was a loss for all women. That all women should be upset by the verdict of this trial. That it's a step backward for victims everywhere. When in fact, that's not the case. And if it is a step back for victims everywhere, it's not because Johnny Depp won, it's because Amber Heard lied. But they want you to forget that. They want you to forget that Amber Heard brought this upon herself. And they want to make everyone out to be bad people if they supported Johnny Depp. They want the world to believe that this is just one of the most tragic things that has ever happened to us. Amber Heard losing this case is the most tragic moment we've all ever seen, and it's total, complete BS. It's obvious that it's BS. It's so blatantly obvious that it's funny. And I'm having a good time getting a laugh out of all of these mainstream media outlets making a complete fool of themselves. But they won't stop, and they can't stop. And they're going to keep going, and unfortunately, some people will still support them. And I'm just hoping that this new audience who have now seen how the mainstream media outlets work, I hope that y'all don't go back to trusting them after this case is over. If they will blatantly lie about Johnny Depp and the Johnny Depp trial, then they will blatantly lie about anything. Think about how minuscule the Johnny Depp trial is to just the overall everything else that's happening in the world. You know what I mean? It was a big deal for all of us, sure. But it's only a blip on the map of the things that really matter in today's world. And if they're willing to lie about this, if they're willing to go to this extent to lie, then what else do you think they will lie about? Everything. Literally everything. We're all being lied to about every single thing. And even when a trial plays out in front of our face and we see the evidence come out in front of our face, they will pretend like it doesn't exist, and they will call you a bad person for looking at the evidence and not just looking at what they have to say about it. But this woman went against the narrative and said what needed to be said. Because what AH did was a slap in the face to every real victim out there. Every single real victim out there. Most of real victims that I've heard from, they're not on AH's side. In fact, they're disgusted by what she tried to pull off here. And she couldn't do it alone. I want you all to understand, this could not have been done alone. The mainstream media is just as responsible for what happened here as Amber Turd. They are one and the same at this point. In fact, all of this stuff that was going on, it was really the mainstream media against Johnny Depp. The mainstream media took Amber Heard in. I feel like they manipulated the situation a little bit as well. And they wanted to use her as a vessel to push a certain narrative, to push a certain agenda. And now that vessel crumbled. And they're going to look for a new ship to sail. But first, they have to do damage control. They realize the impact that this has on their narrative. They realize that now, some of the very people who have supported their side of things for so long are waking up to just how bogus they are. And they absolutely cannot stand it. They absolutely cannot stand it. Most people, I don't want to say most, but a lot of the people who support Johnny Depp absolutely hate and despise Fox News. Yet look, it takes a woman from Fox News to actually tell the truth. CNN wouldn't do it. MSNBC wouldn't do it. None of these news outlets would do it. But some of these people villainize Fox News so much. Yet it took Fox News to tell the truth. That's where we're at here. And I'm not saying that, oh, we should all congratulate Fox News or anything like that. I'm just saying that it seems like to me that these left-wing news outlets are the ones that are mainly responsible for this attack on Johnny Depp. And the fact that they will accuse anyone who supports Johnny Depp of being a right-wing conservative extremist is absolutely horrendous and almost laughable. Personally, I don't consider myself any of this stuff. I don't consider myself right-wing, left-wing, whatever fucking wing you want to think of. I don't consider myself any of that. What I like to do is I like to observe every, thing on an individual basis, and I come to my own conclusions. Sometimes my opinions may lean this way. Sometimes my opinions may lean this way. But I try to shoot down the middle and just be as straight as possible when coming to, forming opinions about things. I don't like my opinions to be swayed by certain agendas or certain parties and certain groups. Yet there's one group and one party who seems adamant about taking Johnny Depp down. And it's weird because I know for a fact it's not like the people who lean left are responsible for this. It's the mainstream media that leans left. So right now we're seeing a divide between the common people on the left and the mainstream media on the left. And I think this is a perfect example to show you that it doesn't matter if you go against or you go with their narrative. It doesn't matter if you sit here and be like, I hate Donald Trump, I want him dead. The moment you go against them, they will throw you to the wolves. And I hope everyone's paying attention to this. Johnny Depp, regardless of leaning to that side for his entire life, regardless of what he did and said to support that side, they threw him to the wolves in a matter of moments. And they will do the same to all of you all. But I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and remember to always remain opinionated.